name is Janvi Rohil and today I am going to tell you the story of Snow White and the Sea. So come on, let's get started. Once upon a time there lived a wicked queen and she had a magic mirror. Always the mirror told that the queen was fairest in all the land. But except one day when the queen asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on them all," the mirror replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen got so angry she destroyed the mirror and called a huntsman. Then she asked the huntsman to kill Snow White. The huntsman went in the forest and told Snow White what the queen had said. Snow White said, "Oh, I have an idea." Then the huntsman said, "What is your idea?" "Take a little part of my hair and show the queen that I have been killed." The huntsman said, "Oh yes, that's a great idea." He went with Snow White's hair to the queen and said, "Snow White has been killed." The queen got very happy and she made her mirror back. And then she asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror said, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." "But that can't be true. Snow White has been killed," said the queen. The mirror said, "The mirror never lies." And then while the queen was so angry in the forest, Snow White was searching for food and a home to live when she suddenly saw a small house and she knocked on the door, but the door opened wide. She went inside. There were 7 bowls of food and she thought, "If I ate it, there is no owner in the house, so I shall eat the food." Snow White started to eat the food. When she finished, she got a little tired from roaming here and there for search. Then she went to the beds. There were 7 small beds. She lied on them, but they were too small. Then she arranged them vertically and lied on them. Then when the 7 dwarfs came, the owner of the small house, they saw, "Someone had came in our house. Our food has gone." When they went to their beds, they saw it was Snow White sleeping on the bed. Then they said, "Oh, such a pretty girl. We shall not wake her up." But while they were speaking that, Snow White woke up. And then she asked, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to enter your house." The leader of the dwarfs said, "It's okay, beautiful girl. We are the 7 dwarfs. What is your name?" Snow White replied, "My name is Snow White." They said, "It's nice to meet you, Snow White. And where did you come from?" The dwarf said. She told the whole story to the dwarfs. The dwarf said, "You shall be careful because we shall go to work tomorrow." Snow White said, "Okay, I will be a lot careful so my mother doesn't come in the forest and tries to kill me." They said, "Okay, we can go to work tomorrow." The next day arrived. The dwarfs went to work Snow White came out of the house and started to play with her animal friends. But suddenly she knew the queen was disguised as an old lady and she had a poisonous apple. She gave it to Snow White, and before giving it she said, "Oh, pretty girl, this apple is for you." Snow White said, "Oh, thank you, that's so kind of you." Snow White ate a bite of the apple and she started to fall asleep for 12 years. By seeing this, the queen got very happy. "Oh yes, finally I killed Snow White," she said, and then she went to her castle. After some time, the dwarfs came back and saw that Snow White was lying on the ground with the apple. They got surprised, and one of the dwarfs cured Snow White she was poisoned by an apple, and that would send her to sleep for 12 years. They got so sad. They carried her on a table and were almost about to put her in the river. But suddenly a prince came and said, "Oh wait, don't put her in the river. I want to see her. What's wrong with her?" They said, "She has been put into sleep by a poisoned apple." He said, "Oh, I want to see her. Please don't put her in the river." They said, "Okay, you can see her." When the prince saw Snow White felt asleep for 12 years, he really wanted to marry Snow White, but Snow White was fallen asleep. He just kissed Snow White and was almost about to put her in the river when she woke up and said to the prince, "Oh, thank you, Prince. I really appreciate your help." And the prince said, "You're welcome." And he said, "Would you marry me?" Snow White said, "Yes, but first can you tell me your name?" said the prince. "My name is Snow White," said Snow White, and they both lived happily ever after. The end. Thank you. Bye-bye.